Hi, everybody. It's Katie Joe with Sovereign Soul Podcast, and I'm excited to talk to you today. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how ruining my reputation is one of the best things that ever happened to me. Now, I was raised in a really conservative religious community in Utah, and I was really lucky and lucky enough that my parents raised us with the intention of and the activity of like walking their talk. Now, as an adult, I didn't get the experience of understanding that everybody else didn't walk their talk and who people were behind closed doors was different than who they showed up on Sundays. I didn't know that. I was actually very ignorant and naive to that until I was an adult because my parents were so diligent about living their faith. Now, living their faith and raising us in their faith was actually so beneficial in so many ways. We learned about prayer every morning and every evening, family time, service projects, choosing integrity, doing what was right, all of these things. So they really did all of this to instill this in us. And I look back now, while in my teenage years, I took a wayward path. When I look back at that time now, I feel like that's the foundation of who I am and how I live today. While I'm no longer part of a structured religion, and in fact, I teach and train shamanic philosophy and practices, my diligence and my commitment to living daily spiritual practice came from that upbringing. And so when I talk about my reputation being ruined, there's a lot of condemnation that happens through rumor and gossip and things like that. When I was a teenager, I was asked out on the state dance, and this really popular football star invited me. And I was really overwhelmed. I didn't know this. This was like the cool crowd, and I was really intimidated. I was kind of shy, and I felt gawky and I felt awkward. And in fact, I can tell you probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. I'm ashamed. Like, it's like, I can't believe I'm going to tell you this story. But we were on this date dance and we were heading from Provo up to Salt Lake, which is about a 45-minute drive. And we were at this, we'd all gotten together as a group and we had gone up to this house where there was like an afternoon barbecue. And then we were all going to travel and we were going to go up to a place called Galleria, something Galleria, where you could do um, tons of fun stuff like what is it, slip track driving, bungee jumping. That was kind of the plan. But also, the freeway was under massive construction. So right before we leave, everybody's getting in their car, and I'm thinking maybe I should go pee before we go because I just had a Dr. Pepper, and I was literally too shy to say, "Hey, can you guys all wait 5 minutes?" Because this is all the cool crowd, and I'm like, I'll just go up there and I'll pee up there because it's like 35-minute drive. I'll be fine. And we get up there and we get stuck in traffic. And we don't just get stuck in traffic, we get stuck in traffic. And I am sitting there in the car and I don't know this guy. I hardly know this guy. And I'm really intimidated because he's super cool and he's, all of these things. And everybody we're with, I hardly know. And I'm sitting there and we've been in the car for an hour and I don't even think that we're halfway there. And by now he's got like the bass going, he's got the windows down, like on the side of the road, there's dirt. And like I finally get the courage to say, hey, so and so, I won't say his name. The next time that we come to an exit, would you please pull off so that I can go pee? And he's like, yeah, sure. Now I can feel the bass of the car and the music pulsing and booming through my bladder every single moment. My bladder is just pounding. And I was literally humiliated. I'm sitting here going like, now everybody's going to know. And I'm so embarrassed. We're in this caravan type situation. And I'm going to have to pull off and go because I was too shy at the party to say, can everybody wait 2, 3 minutes for me to pee? So now we're in the car. We've been there an hour. I'm dying, and now I'm second level embarrassed, right? Because I should have just done it, and I should have had courage in the beginning. So second level courage is to, okay, I just have to humble myself. Hey, can we get off the side? Go to this exit. Well, we get off on he like the next exit comes. He doesn't get off. He's just playing along to the music, totally oblivious. 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes goes past. We're still in deadlock traffic. And I'm like, enough is enough. I look at him and I said, I have got to pee. I'm going to pee my pants if you don't like. So, next level courage. Like, oh my gosh, it's that old adage of like, if you don't get the message when it's a snowflake, you're going to get the message when it's a snowball. And if you don't get the message when it's a snowball, you're going to get the message when it's an avalanche. So here I am, like not listening to Kurt. So it gets to the point, and I'm like, I have got to pee. He looks at me, he can tell I'm serious. He takes his Nissan Maxima, like 1990s Nissan Maxima, goes off of the freeway into the dirt on the side of this deadlocked traffic. And now we're bouncing along, we're going crazy along the side. I am dying. And he's trying to get to the next exit. And now I'm like all over the car, just like somebody has taken, a pop bottle and just shaking it up. But everybody in the caravan behind us is like, what's he doing? Let's follow. So everybody else, there's like 4 cars behind us. They all hop off into the other side. Now everybody, like a Jeep caravan out in the middle of the Sahara Desert, is driving off road on the side of this freeway. I don't know how cops didn't stop us, and everybody's jumbling around, and I'm dying. I'm like, I go, sir, I won't say his name. I'm like, you've got to stop. Just stop here. I'll pee right here. And he's like, are you kidding? And I was like, no, just stop right here. I've got to pee. So he stops the car. I'm looking for this tall grass. I'm trying to run for this tall grass. I'm running for this tall grass. I begin to get there. I finally get there, and I'm like, I'm going to make it. I've already got my jeans unbuckled. Like I am hauling ass right when I get to the tall grass. I tripped. I face planted. I peed my pants. Oh my gosh. And I'm sitting there in this pile of weeds on the side of the freeway with all of these cars. The whole caravan has now stopped, of all of the football, basketball players, cheerleaders, and this guy. And I've got to come out of this grass. Long story short, it was one of the like up until that point the most humiliating moment of my life. I ended up coming out of the grass. A sweet, kind cheerleader had a like hoodie. She let me wrap it around my waist, and we went on with the day. But here's how my reputation got ruined. Um, Unbeknownst to me, that football player, cool guy, told everybody that night at the date dance that he had had sex with me. Now, for reference, I had never even been kissed until I was 17 years old. And so I didn't even know my reputation had gotten out that way. But what I did know is that a lot of people that were my friends and a lot of people that would hang out with me all the time, all of a sudden became aloof, started to become distant. And now the whole football team and all of the popular jocks all had heard heard this rumor. And in a conservative area and in a conservative place, that was really taboo. In fact, I don't want to slander any type of religion, but at the time, the idea and what was said by some of the prophets in the religion was that it was better that your child, your son or daughter, were to die than they were to lose their innocence and virginity. So that was kind of the permeating idea at the time. So for me to have the reputation that I had broken that law shifted culturally all of my friend groups, and I didn't even do it. But what ended up happening as a young girl, like you would be, is a young teen whose friend groups change, and I had no idea where it was changing. I started to get asked out on dates by guys that didn't have positive experience, like intentions and things like that. And I was just a young girl looking for love, and I ended up with some friend groups teen girls that were being promiscuous and having sex with their boyfriends, and they became my inner circle. So something that was so foreign to me, that was so taboo to me, then became part of my normal. And part of this teen girl group also is they were like, all of my friend group turned to be like kind of on the naughty side, if you will, the little rebellious side. And these specific two teen girls, they were really into shoplifting. And so as time goes by, I'm sure like you could anticipate with any teen girl, and I'm not blaming anybody but myself, other than to recognize and share the message that who you associate with abs absolutely influences your behavior, absolutely influences who you are and how you are in the world. And so nobody made decisions for me except for me, but I started to do the things that was in that crowd. And I got caught for shoplifting a white t-shirt from the mall. And when I got caught, I luckily didn't have to go down to the jail or anything like that. An undercover security guard had caught me, and I was all written up. So I was arrested, but I didn't get taken down to the station. I was taken in like this back room in the mall, and everything was written up, and I had to go to court and I had to pay a fine, and all of this went down. Now, this is what I mean. Having my reputation ruined, not only from the choices of gossip and people not clarifying and getting the facts, so that's one, but two, me being unaware, but also finding myself in friend groups that were not positive um, influences on me, and I started making poor choices. My reputation was very, very damaged. So it's not fair to blame this football player, because I definitely made my own choices and ruined my reputation even further on top of that. Now, why is this something that's been so beneficial for me? Is because when you have damaged your reputation like I did at such a young age, it took years and years and years to build it back. It took years and years and years to be accepted again by my community and to be thought well of. And based on the rejection and based on the kind of outcasting I experienced, which I disagree with, I don't think anybody should experience that. But because of that, I kind of had the pendulum swing all the way back. And when the pendulum swing went all the way back, I became hyper vigilant on being honest, hyper vigilant on not even taking a pen from the bank, didn't want to steal that, hyper vigilant on telling the truth, hyper vigilant on doing good and volunteering and building my reputation from scratch. And it took years and years and years. And when I see people now in this religious community who are now in their midlife, and many of them are exodusing religion, so many of them are feeling like they lost their wild years, or they're sowing all these wild oats they felt like they got robbed of because they were living this diligent and true life. And I see so many of them without the awareness of how damaging it is on your reputation. And I don't want to convey from this podcast, I don't want anybody to feel like what other people think of you matters more than what you think of yourself. I don't, that's not my message. My message is that using wisdom and discernment and recognizing that sometimes momentary decisions, momentary impulses, times when you just want to give into, I don't want to, like seduction or temptation, whatever it may be, can damage your life and relationships and influence for years and years and years to come. And being able to look back now, I'm grateful that that happened in my younger years, because I've never really had that impulse, even though I've left religion, to be that pendulum swing, to go and sow my wild oats. And not necessarily because I did them. I never was really, I was never really involved in drugs or drinking. I live a pretty tame life. But because I recognized that not only did my reputation have effects. But then my children, who came very shortly, I was 20 when my first child was born, that they were affected by not being welcomed by their community and looked down on because of choices that I had made. So I guess my message with this would be is that there's always a balance of living your authenticity, but to find that authenticity, to live your authenticity, we also might have to ask the question, what is for my highest good? What is for the good of all of those around me, and not in a self-sacrificing way, but living in alignment, in integrity, living in speaking your truth, living in moderation, keeping your promises, keeping your word, things like that are always long term for the good. So, those are my thoughts on that today. I hope you enjoyed these little thoughts.